You have been lied to about toxic people for most of your life. The most dangerous individuals do not arrive with obvious red flags or aggressive behavior. They possess a sophisticated camouflage that allows them to blend into your life completely unnoticed. And here is what makes this truly terrifying for anyone seeking peace. Recent research from Harvard shows that the average person wastes 4.5 years of their life in toxic relationships. These are precious years that could have been saved if they had known how to identify the signs in the first 60 seconds. Think about your own life for a moment and the people you have met. Have you ever felt a sudden, unexplained drain on your energy after meeting someone new? Did you feel like you were being heard by them but not truly understood at a soul level? Your intuition was likely trying to protect your psychological immune system from an intruder. Today, I am going to reveal 10 instant signs that expose a toxic person before they can even put on their mask. These are psychological tells, backed by research from UCLA and Stanford, that 99% of people miss completely. By the end of this deep dive, you will have a high-performance radar system to protect your peace and your independence. Let us start with the most powerful sign that happens in the very first sentence of a conversation. The first sign is what psychologists call the excessive validation trap. When you first meet a healthy person, they naturally have their own unique opinions and perspectives. They might disagree with you politely or offer a different point of view because they are authentic. But a toxic individual creates an instant and artificial harmony to lure you in. They will agree enthusiastically with every single thing you say, no matter how small. This is not a genuine connection based on shared values. It is a calculated technique called mirroring, designed to disarm your natural psychological defenses. Research has found that manipulative individuals agree with strangers' opinions 86% of the time in initial meetings. In contrast, genuine individuals only agree about 38% of the time. They will use phrases like, "That is exactly how I feel," or "I was literally just thinking that." They are creating an illusion of rare compatibility that feels far too good to be true. You can easily test this by expressing a slightly unusual or even a controversial opinion. A genuine person might politely acknowledge it or ask why you feel that way. A toxic person will immediately claim that it is their secret perspective too. They are building a foundation for future manipulation by making you feel like they are your long-lost soulmate. The second instant red flag is the preemptive character assassination. You must watch carefully how they talk about people who are not present in the room with you. Toxic people often try to isolate their targets by poisoning the well against potential allies. Within minutes of meeting you, they might casually mention deep problems with mutual connections. They disguise these vicious attacks as helpful warnings or innocent, concerned observations. Social psychology studies show this technique creates a 47% reduction in trust between potential allies. They might say something like, "You are working with Sarah, just be careful because she is great, but she has many issues." They are not being helpful to you in any way. They are eliminating your support system in advance, so you have no one else to turn to but them. Recognize this immediately as a strategic move, rather than friendly or kind advice. The third instant red flag is the immediate boundary test. Toxic people probe your boundaries immediately to gauge your response and see how much you will tolerate later. They will make a small but deliberate violation of your personal space or your comfort level. This might be an overly personal question or an unwanted touch on the arm within minutes of meeting. Behavioral psychologists at UCLA documented that manipulative people typically test boundaries within the first 7 minutes. Respectful people maintain an appropriate social distance for at least 30 minutes. They are watching to see if you will call them out or if you will simply let it slide. How you respond to these very early tests sets the precedent for every single interaction that follows. Healthy people respect boundaries from the very start because they value you. Toxic people look for ways to step over them immediately to gain control. The fourth sign is hidden in the stories they choose to tell about themselves in those first minutes. This is the strategic victim narrative. Toxic people often position themselves as the hero of impossible and tragic circumstances. They use carefully crafted stories to establish themselves as simultaneously victimized and exceptional. These narratives elicit deep sympathy and justify their future bad behavior toward you. Research in narrative psychology shows that manipulative people share victim stories 3 times earlier than genuine people. Within minutes, they will tell you how they were betrayed by a business partner or how their ex was completely crazy. These are not vulnerable disclosures of a hurting soul seeking healing. They are strategic positioning to gain your trust and your pity as a weapon. When someone shares stories where they are the flawless victim of others' actions, Recognize it as reputation management. The fifth instant red flag is the spotlight shift. Watch how they react when they are not the center of attention in a group setting. Healthy people naturally share the focus and enjoy seeing others succeed and shine. Toxic individuals cannot tolerate attention flowing to anyone else but themselves. They will interrupt, redirect, or hijack discussions with increasing urgency the longer they are ignored. Communication researchers at Stanford found that narcissistic individuals typically interrupt within 20 seconds if they are not the focus. This rate is 4 times higher than what you see in emotionally healthy people. If someone else is speaking, they might check their phone or display visible disinterest in the topic. This is not enthusiasm or excitement for life or conversation. It is a pathological need for self-focus that will eventually drain you. Notice how quickly they redirect attention away from your achievements or your basic needs. The sixth sign is something you will hear in their language pattern called forced teaming. Toxic people artificially accelerate intimacy by using the word we before any real connection actually exists. They create a premature sense of partnership or shared struggle where there is none. This is a psychological technique to bypass your normal vetting process and make you feel safe. Security experts found this tactic present in 65% of cases involving predatory individuals. They will say things like, "We are both dealing with the same challenge," or "People like us have to stick together." Genuine connections develop partnership language slowly and naturally over many months of shared experience. Toxic people deploy it immediately as a psychological shortcut to your heart and your trust. The seventh sign appears in how they handle even the smallest and most polite disagreement. This reveals everything about how they will treat you when things get truly difficult later on. The seventh red flag is the disproportionate reaction. They might respond to a minor criticism with a subtle but unmistakable emotional intensity. Healthy people can handle different perspectives without feeling personally attacked or diminished. Toxic individuals experience even gentle disagreement as a total rejection of their entire being. Psychological research shows that toxic individuals have physiological stress responses to disagreement that are nearly 4 times stronger. You will notice a sudden shift in their demeanor or a cold tightening around the eyes. They might use a cold tone or completely withdraw their warmth for a few seconds. This flash of intensity reveals their inner fragility and forecasts a future of emotional manipulation. The eighth sign is hidden within the compliments they give you. This is the comparative compliment. Toxic people do not give pure praise because they always want to create conflict. They give compliments that elevate you by denigrating or insulting someone else. They might say, "You are so much more intelligent than the other people in this office." This is not genuine appreciation for your unique talents. It is a demonstration of how they create social hierarchy and toxic division. Linguistic analysis shows that manipulative people use comparative compliments 4 times more frequently. It is a reliable predictor of future triangulation, where they will play you against your own friends. Remember that the way they talk about others to you is exactly how they will talk about you to others. The ninth sign reveals itself in how they handle your success or your good news. I call this person the joy thief. Toxic people cannot genuinely celebrate the happiness or the growth of someone else. When you share an achievement, they will respond with subtle, undermining tactics. They might minimize your success or immediately change the subject back to themselves. Research shows that how someone responds to your good news is more predictive of relationship quality than how they respond to bad news. If you share a promotion and they say that is great, but the real challenge starts now, they are stealing your joy. They might even one-up you by mentioning something bigger they did many years ago. This pattern is a reliable preview of how they will systematically undermine your confidence for years to come. The 10th and most powerful red flag is the mask slip. This is a momentary glimpse of their true nature when they think no one is watching them. Toxic people maintain a carefully constructed persona during social interactions to stay liked. But maintaining this false facade requires a massive amount of constant mental energy. This leads to brief moments where the mask drops, usually when interacting with people they perceive as unimportant. Watch how they treat service staff, waiters, or assistants when they think you are busy. The sudden shift in tone or the dismissive gesture towards a server is not just a lapse in manners. It is a rare and vital glimpse of their authentic character. The person they are to the waiter is the person they will eventually be to you. This happens once the honeymoon phase is over and they feel they have secured you. This momentary authenticity is the most reliable indicator of who they really are inside. Now that you know these 10 instant red flags, you have a psychological advantage that most people never develop. You do not have to doubt your instincts or your gut feelings anymore. That uncomfortable feeling you get around certain people is not social anxiety or shyness. It is your psychological immune system working exactly as it should to keep you safe. The most powerful protection is not cutting toxic people out after the damage is already done. It is identifying them in the first 60 seconds and maintaining your strong boundaries from the start. Remember that toxic people do not show these signs just once in a blue moon. They display consistent and repetitive patterns of this behavior. One sign might be a simple misunderstanding or a bad day, but multiple signs are a warning that you cannot afford to ignore if you want to live a life of peace. You are the architect of your own social environment and your own happiness. You have the absolute right to choose who gets access to your energy and your precious time. Protect your heart, trust your wisdom, and stay vigilant in every new encounter. If you found these insights helpful, remember that your intuition is your greatest gift in this world. Trust yourself, honor your peace, and stay safe out there.